Buffalo. The Bills make me want to shout.
Folks, welcome to week 11 of the Gratwick Gaming NFQL Madden Sim on Trainwreck Sports. I am Dan Gambino from Code Sox filling in Zach. Join us later on mid-broadcast, but tonight we are joined by a special guest, Mr. Nate Ubble of the Circling the Wagons Podcast. Nate, thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate you us finally getting together and doing this. This is fun.
If you're as jacked up as the Buffalo Bills are right now for this game and this Madden Sim, I'll tell you what, they are on a roll. They're looking down the barrel of a big opponent next week against the Denver Broncos, who knocked them out last year in the AFC Championship. Today they need to take care of business against these New York Jets. Just end the season. What are you expecting out of the Bills today?
Well, let's see. The Bills are doing really well. It looks like 9-1 this season. I feel like the Bills always play the Jets really well at home, and I don't know. This is a different team this year, and I'm not too worried. You know, everyone's worried about the fact that the Jets had a really good draft. Well, it takes a lot more than just drafting to make a good team. It takes a lot of management and coaching and stuff from there. So, you know, you can get all the right pieces together. It doesn't mean you can assemble them, though.
Just like our first Bills TD drive tonight, where someone could win a $25 gift card to a local restaurant. So you kind of have to see the future and see who's going to score that touchdown. And I see people piling in right now. We got Robert Williams, Adam Watson, Andrew Zerfetti. We have Jason Towell. We have Paul Burden. We have everybody on. Everyone's starting to come in. Guys, don't forget to put your comments in the chat. Tell us who's going to score that first touchdown for the Bills. And you see Darnold right there having a decent season in this sim. 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. One thing you don't know, Nate, is Micah Hyde is actually leading the league right now in interceptions. Trey White's right behind him. This secondary is really good, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens as they get play underway here, which looks like a handoff. But Nate, you are with the Circling the Wagons podcast. Tell us a little about that. How'd you come about? Where are you located? And how long have you been a Bills fan?
Yeah, so we're located outside of the Rochester area in upstate New York. So right next to you guys, I actually spent 4 years of schooling over at University of Buffalo there. So I'm very familiar with Buffalo, love Buffalo. I'd like to say that one of the reasons why I went to UB is because of how much of a Bills fan I was. It's as weird as that sounds.
It's awesome.
So it's funny, in like 2017, got together with two of my good high school buddies that were also big Bills fans. And I was like, you know what? Like, there's not a lot of Bills podcasts, or there wasn't at that time, that were giving regular content, like every week. I mean, there were a couple of, media personnel that were, like Sal Marana was kind of doing one on and off. Joe B was doing one on and off, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't every week. And I'm like, well, hey, let's be one of the podcasts that does one every week during the season. Maybe we'll do one in the week for a preview of the season. And then it kind of took off. Like we developed a small following, and then it kind of grew bigger. We did it for about a year or so. And Buffalo Rumblings, which I'm sure a lot of people are aware of, just said, hey, we're starting a podcast network, and we'd like you guys to be our first podcast. So, it was an opportunity that we couldn't pass up. I mean, I've been following Buffalo Rumblings since, 2007 when they started, because it was one of the few places where you could get news at that time every single day. And, I'd keep refreshing the BuffaloBills.com homepage, like, come on, Chris Brown, give me some more, man. And it just, we're lucky that we are in the place that we're at. They've added like 4 or 5 new podcasts to that network. And I know it's something similar to what Trainwreck's got going on. And, very fortunate to be a part of it and love doing it.
It's great. It's something that you love to do, and it turns into more of a hobby than a job or a event, and it's awesome. And you get your door opened a lot too. You start doing something like that. That's great. Well,
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't doing it, right?
Hey,
all right.
Pretty much, and it's funny because we've had people on that haven't done anything with the Buffalo Bills. Maybe they're just like Vader was on the other day, and afterwards he's like, man, this was a lot of fun. It is fun, but what's not fun right now? Looking at a 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line, of a play action, catching mono in the backfield, trying to run around, and he's sacked. And the kisser by Williams. One tackle, one sack. That's a coverage sack. We've been seeing that in these Madden sims. What else we've been seeing? Pick sixes by Micah Hyde. He's got 3 touchdowns in this sim, knowing that he's playing on a contract year at this point in the 2021 season. What's your take on our secondary this year, and what are you expecting from the defense better than last year?
Well, what's unfortunate is because the secondary is so good, the pass rush doesn't seem to be in line with it. And I guess the unfortunate part is that, the secondary doesn't get as much credit as even they do because they're that good, but the Bills just have a lack of pass rush. And I don't think it's scheme. I mean, when they're not blitzing, it's hard for them to get home with 4 guys. So I'm really looking forward to this season, them adding Mario Addison to the mix, because I think that, I think he is what we would hope the Shaq Lawson would be. Now we're just hoping that it's not, he's not at the end of his career, that he's still going to continue the way he's done for the last 5 or 6 seasons. But I'm thinking that this whole team in general should be much better. We only lost 2 starters of all 22, and we can get into this later. But this team that being built is basically COVID-19 resistant, and because they've kept all the starters and the people that they've brought in free agency are, familiar with the system or familiar with coach. Oh, it looks like Taron Johnson can't get into coverage.
They really have familiarized themselves not only with their players. They've lost one person every year, and it seems like it's a stop plug. We lost a few more this year, unfortunately, in Jordan Phillips. That's a big place. That's a big plug to fill. He stepped right in and took over for what we were hoping was going to be Harrison Phillips. How is he going to weigh into it? Using the guy on the outside and Shaq Lawson, we're going to find out what we really lost. But you know what we're not going to lose? We're not going to lose the opportunity for a $25 gift card for the first Bills touchdown. So guys, make sure you're commenting in the chat. I understand what you're saying. They've pretty much become this team that plug and play. It's the next guy up. Look at the line right there that you're looking at. Or Dawkins, Spain, Morse. Obviously, Cristiano's not in that picture. We didn't have them 2 years ago. Last year they showed what we could do when we built a line. Now we need to build that defensive front to somebody besides Jerry Hughes getting that pressure.
Exactly, and that's what I'm... Go ahead.
Oh, wow. So Singletary's out for 7 weeks in this game, everybody. So if you're looking for Singletary, he got hurt at the end of the last game. There's something good, though, seeing our guy there catch some balls finally. It's pretty much been missing for the past 3 weeks. We got people filing in right now, and I'm sorry that I cut you off there. We were just getting notes from our producer in our ear. Knox for a touchdown. Brown, Moss. We got everybody, guys. Make sure we got a Diggs. Make sure that you are commenting in the chat to get a part of a $25 gift card to a local restaurant of your choice. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I think I'm really excited to see what the combination of AJ Epinesa and Mario Edison is going to do to the opposite side of Jerry Hughes, because for so long he's been just the only guy that's able to produce any pass rush. And although I like Shaq Lawson, he was more of a run-stuffing defender. And honestly, I said this on the podcast, is that, at least half of Shaq Lawson's sacks, even though he had a great season last year, they were completely unblocked. It was either a scheme sack or it was just they just forgot to cover him. So as much as I want to give credit and I like the guy, I mean, he's not the pass rusher that we all hoped and thought he would be when the Bills drafted him a few years ago. So I'm really excited about that, and I think that in general, the combination of those two on the other side of Shaq Lawson, and sure, it sucks to lose Jordan Phillips. Again, I think he was a good player. I think Ed Oliver is the better player, and I think he is really truly going to be the starter in that role because they basically shared the same role on the defensive line. That this is the year that Ed Oliver steps up, as long as he isn't suspended, and then he's gonna I think gonna be a force on that defensive line, eating up blockers.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see. You know what else is interesting? 2nd and 1 from the 22. Walking into the Codes red zone there, we got Moss the boss hurt. Oh, that's a good thing. I agree with you. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on both sides of that line. And you know what, folks? I'm just noticing right now that this is a triple D, a double dipper drive. Don't only get the $25 gift card, there's also an AR-inspired Bratwick Productions 26 shirts t-shirt up for grabs. So if you don't like shirts and you don't like restaurants, don't comment in the chat. I know I do. Who do you got scoring this touchdown when they score?
Jeez, I mean, it sounds like Moss has been a touchdown monster. And if I want to say, now I said this, I was watching your guys' feed earlier this week, and I was thinking, oh, it's got to be Singletary, and then Josh Allen runs it up the middle. So I'm still gonna say Moss on this one. I think the Bills are going to try to get really close. They're going to pass it. It's going to go down at the 2-yard line. They're going to run Moss in for the 2-yard touchdown.
We're going to need them to come up big here on this 3rd down. And guys, speaking of thirds, 3rd quarter, don't forget we have the Code sock drive. It'll be a Poncho Power sock. Sure, you're sharing stream. Allen back to pass, looks over the middle. Oh, and they're going to be stopped short. Looks like we're going to see a T-Bass field goal here on 4th and 3. 5:30 left in the 1st quarter.
Is T-Bass the kicker now in this season?
Yes.
That is a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yes.
So they're saying that he not only won the job in 2020, but he's the kicker going forward. That's interesting.
I really think he's going to win the job this year as well. I don't think you can only push some of these kids out. What I mean, last year we had a guy leave and then he went to where? San Fran, did a bunch of games there and did really well, and then they cut him. Really shocked that the Bills didn't sign him back last year.
Well, they put a waiver claim in for him, but they didn't have a high enough waiver claim. So I forgot who actually ended. I forgot. Maybe it was the Patriots. I can't remember who ended up getting him, but
the Bills tried to. Yeah, we lost him. That's all I know. It was unfortunate because they could have. I like Hauschka. Don't get me wrong, but it's the sentimental house money. You know what I mean? It's how old is he now?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, can I ask you this? Why is it that whenever a field goal kicker comes in, and this happened with Dan Carpenter, when you have a guy that comes in that's really hot for like the first year and a half, and then he kind of, dips in the second half of the second year, and you're like, well, maybe this is just, it's just the luck of the draw. It's not a trend. It's just happened to be, and then they completely lose it in year 3. And now we're at the point where we are right now with Hauschka, where we're like, can we depend on him or not? And I don't know if we can.
Guys, those of you just showing up and tuning in with us, thanks for joining us, everybody. Looks like we're up to about 50 people across all the platforms. Make sure that you're commenting for that first touchdown for the $25 gift card. We're joined tonight by Nate from the Circling the Wagons podcast. Where can they find you, Nate?
So you can find us on Twitter at CTW Pod, like Circling the Wagons Pod. And we do a podcast for Buffalo Rumblings, so you can follow at Buffalo Rumblings. We're on Facebook, Instagram. I mean, I'm kind of running all 3 of those social media platforms, so I'm starting to get into each one as we go along. I'm definitely going to share this on our Facebook feed. And
wide open. That's the big play, folks. If you've been watching these or haven't been watching them, clue you in. Big play has been killing this secondary, and it's not every day that someone slips over the top. Looks like it was blown coverage. Oh, no. That's just outran everybody there. It's like the help wasn't where Trey thought it was going to be. Bills are down 6-0, about to be 7. They don't miss a lot of field goal extra points in Tim. Who we got here? It took a couple days. Robert Williams.
So
Robert, they're on the way. You got him, bud? Hope you got him. Make sure that you comment in the chat that you got him or not, but they should be on their way. 6-3. Excuse me, I'm going to correct myself for the New York Jets. Go ahead. I'm sorry about that, Nate.
No, it's all right. If T-Bass ends up being the kicker this season, is it just going to be like, I don't think I can swear on this, but is it kick his butt, T-Bass or T-Bass? Is that going to be his?
We're gonna have to figure something.
Because it reminds me of the Dumb and Dumber clip, right?
That's what it is. Like T-Bass. Yep.
T-Bass. Yeah. Kick that ball, T-Bass, right?
Yep. We'll get something going for him. If that's T-Bass right there. Definitely. Definitely. So let me ask you a question. We're going to ask this going forward to everybody because our producer, Chris from Gratwick Productions, Gratwick Gaming, came up with this, and he makes a good point. 1988, Bills beat the Jets. We all know what happened. Ripped down the goalpost, right? It was 86. I don't remember the date. I don't remember the year. Will the goalposts come down if the Bills win the AFC East this year at home?
Man, that's a great question. I'd love to get the listeners' feedback on this one because if it's going to be like today's game, right? Because the Bills, if they win today, they win the AFC East, correct?
And this sim believes
Yes,
so.
okay.
I mean, in real life, do you think that will happen? And we fumbled again. Oh, my gosh.
Jeez. Wow.
Fumbles. I'm saying if the Bills this year in 2020 in the AFC East are all in the stadium, do those goalposts come down?
Man, there's a lot of ifs with that question. There's a lot of ifs if it happens in Buffalo, if there's even fans in Buffalo when the game plays. But I'll tell you what.
There is, and we're at home. They win.
I want to say if it's against the Patriots, we absolutely do. If it's not, I don't know if we do. What do you think?
I think they come down either way. I think even if there's an away game and they win it, they better put security outside of the stadium. So I could see these people who go to the airport every time they win, and if I lived in Buffalo, I'd probably be there too. I live in Tampa. I think they better secure the stadium. People will try and break in and rip those goalposts down. That's so Bills Mafia. What else is more Bills Mafia than that? Someone correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. What's more Bills Mafia than everybody breaking in to rip down the goalposts at a stadium we're not? You know what? I think they'll be ripping down goalposts wherever they see them.
I think they should
high school.
Find the closest high school, find the closest, JV football, field. And how about this? How about they make a field goal post of folding tables, and they just break them all, just in unison, just one at a time. Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Ladder stacks. Yeah.
Something's got to break, though. It's crazy. I don't even think about. It's funny. I definitely want them to win the AFC East Division title, and I think this is the first season that they can do it, more so because the Patriots are without a starting quarterback of any name or note, and I think that I don't look at that as big of a deal, maybe just because it's not Tom Brady. If this was last year and the Bills had won the AFC East with Tom Brady, it'd have been a little bit different. It's not going to be watered down at all, but it'll be slightly different. It won't be the same.
I'm going to go pardon my take on this and go in the complete opposite direction. I don't care if Brady would have gotten injured, if Arnold would have got hurt the first play of the year, and the Bills went 8-8 and win the division. That just means we have a home playoff game. 1997.
Oh, you're teasing me now, Dan. Stop it.
1997.
Oh man, I can't even picture it. It's been so long. It's
1997 or 6.
I wasn't even a teenager the last time we won, so.
It was in 12th grade. I grew up in a great era, all right? 6th grade to 12th grade, they rolled pretty much whatever the Chicago Bulls did, the Bills did. It was pretty much the same thing for 3 years there. They were the people you couldn't knock off and get out of the finals. They're always the team that made the playoffs. I'll tell you, man.
Just like this Jordan fan?
Oh, of course. I mean, how could you not be? I liked Reggie. Over the middle, touchdown. I'll tell you what. We're getting away from this sim. You got to wake up. The fans need to wake up there in Buffalo. That was horrible coverage.
13-3. If you guys want, I'll just log off. Am I the bad luck here? Because you guys are 9-1 without me.
Oh, you know what? When Zach comes in, watch it come over like a tidal wave with his little puns and everything, and he's good. Watch it come in. He'll swing in and save the day for these Buffalo Bills. But it'll be interesting to see if they win that division.
I've been pretty impressed with Sam Darnold this game. I mean, the guy's finding guys wide open in the zone. So I mean, you can't not like what you're seeing. And as much as I don't like the Jets and I don't like their fans, and I'm not a big fan of their coach or their team, I don't hate Sam Darnold. Maybe it's because he's such good friends with Josh Allen. I don't hate him though.
You know why we don't hate him? The Bills
Why?
almost drafted him. How much speculation was there that we were going after Darnold? A lot.
Oh yeah, a lot. And if it wasn't that, it was Rosen.
Well, no, I'm hoping that I'll be one of the honest people out there in Bills Mafia and tell you I was kind of hoping they got Rosen. When Allen fell from being the potential first or second or third pick draft,
Can I ask you a question about that? Because I think a lot of us were anti Josh Allen, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly why that is. Because I think for me, it was a combination of things. It was at the time, it was the fact that like everyone in local sports radio was just tearing him apart and saying the Bills better not draft him. So you hear that enough, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I hope they better not draft him. And then it was the fact that he kind of melded in with meshed in with a couple of different other quarterbacks that we've had. He had the big arm like E.J. Manuel. He was.
But don't put big arm and E.J. Manuel in the same sentence again. I'm sorry. I almost just threw. I'm joking. He has Bledsoe's arm.
Am I thinking of Tyrod?
He's got Bledsoe's arm. He's got Tyrod's feet. He's got the tenacity like a Doug Flutie. Let's call it what it is because that's what he had. He was. He's got all the intangibles. He's got the makeup for a really good gunslinger. I think people didn't know who he was. People in Buffalo, and no offense to Buffalonians, because I'm one through and through, 716 until I die for life.
Oh, yeah.
When they don't know enough about something, they push it away. Everybody, not just saying Buffalonians. The knock against Buffalo. 3rd and 10, stop short there. Guys, we got to wake this up. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're putting the stream out. Retweet, share the stream, copy and tag in code SOCKS, and use the hashtag Cuomo. Let's see if we can get Cuomo back as a Bills fan, because I saw the other day he said he can't wait for New York sports to start. Bills were left off of that graphic, so I'm feeling a little slighted. So we got to bring them back to the wagons. Go ahead and share the stream. That's how you're going to win the Poncho Power Socks today. They'll have that Bills' first touchdown, and honestly, might as well go defense at this point. 14 Jets. Make sure that you're following along and put your guesses in the stream there. Sorry about that.
That was a nice punt right there. Did you see that? Did that drop at the 2-yard line, or did it bounce out?
I think it might have bounced out, but that's called the Bajorquez bomb. He's been sending bombs.
Oh, is Bajorquez still the punter here?
Yep. Oh my gosh, that's a Bojo bomb.
Well, it's like he's like the gunslinger of punters. He either punts it out of the stadium or he punts it 20 yards. It's like there's no in between.
Okay, we just saw Ed Oliver flash on the screen. We're going to talk about this for exactly 3 minutes. That's about the amount of time that everybody will remember this and forget it by week 2 when he's sacking everybody. What's your take on what the suspension will be? What's your take on how the Bills are going to handle it? And what's your take, just overall?
Yeah. So when I first heard it, I was obviously disappointed because, he's such a big part of this defense. If we lose him for any games, I mean, the defensive line won't be as good because he's one of their best pieces. So I was disappointed in that. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, he's just young, just forget about it. Like, yeah, he is young, and we've all done stupid things as young people. I mean, if you drink at all, I'm sure there's a point in time when you've driven a car you probably could have gotten at one point maybe pulled over. I know that one year I was actually the DD, and I had one drink all night, and when I was pulled over in the Geneseo area, I said I had one drink, and the guy pulled me out of the car and had me do a sobriety test right there. So, I mean, I wasn't drunk, obviously, but it's very easy to get caught, and I've had very, responsible, intelligent friends that, like, you'd never think would get a DWI get one. So I get it from that standpoint. It's just unfortunate to say. It's just the defensive line is better with him than without him. I mean, bottom line. And if he misses 2 or 3 games, it's unfortunate. But the good thing about Twitter is I put that out there, and a lot of people have been reassuring me that it's not going to happen until 2021 because of how long it takes, the legal process to go through for DWI charges, and the fact that we're going through the COVID-19 thing, and courts are taking longer to, process trials and charges and stuff like that. So it's possible that it doesn't even happen until 2021, which I think 2020 is the year anyway. So, yeah, those are just my thoughts on it. I'm not completely upset at the guy, but I'm not happy about it. What about you?
I'll tell you one thing really quickly off the subject. Jets aren't happy seeing Le'Veon Bell walk off the field holding his wrist. I know the Bills faithful is really happy about that. My take on this, very short, very sweet, very simple. The human being had too many drinks. Nobody was there with him. No one knows how much. Only the cops do. We'll come out with that information. I don't even know if they have. This is how much time I've spent on. He's a human being. He made a mistake. Thank goodness nobody was injured. Him, anyone else, nothing. That's the important thing.
Yep.
It's too precious for everybody. The football out of it, and a lot of people I hear them, oh, they should have let him go. Well, should they have let him go? Should we let people go? I don't think we should. That's my personal belief. We'll learn from it. Organization will take care of it, and he's going to have to answer to it. And we'll see how he does. The pressure of the media now, because he didn't have it last year. He didn't have a lot of media pressure last year.
No, and he's such a good player. The one thing I worry about, and I know it's like a 0.1% chance, is that, I worry in the back of my head. I'll always be thinking, is this going to happen again? Is there something else that's going to happen again? Is there going to be a PED suspension? Because you know what? I never thought about that with Marcel Darius, and then all of a sudden it started to steamroll. Now, he's not Marcel Darius. Before people jump on me for that, he's definitely not. Marcel Darius, by the way, had like a really awful, terrible past. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've done some research after the fact, and they made some really good mistakes with the moves that they've made over the past 4 years.
Yeah, so it's very sad, but I don't see him as Marcel Darius. But all the time I'll just kind of wonder, okay, is this going to happen again? Are we worried about it? I don't think it will be. I think he'll be fine. I'm just, you can't help but wonder.
It's going to be a learning process, like I said, and and there was almost just a pick. That was going all the way to the house. No way the lineman was getting him. Third and goal, guys. We need to stop here. This game's getting ugly. We're getting off track. It's 50 seconds left. Back to pass. Oh, he pirouetted. That's going to turn into a sack. Always does. Every time. Sack. AJ Epinesa. On. That's what we need to see this year. I am really stoked to see what this kid brings.
Absolutely. I was watching some of that Embedded series, and we're going to do a review of that on our podcast coming up soon. But, one of the things that they did, and they noted, and I noted when I was watching highlights reels of him, is that he goes for the strip sack as opposed to just the sack. Now, Buffalo historically doesn't necessarily go for the ball. They use, just look at the Deshaun Watson play, that ended their season, the playoff run. If they had gone for the ball on that one, they'd have been in a better spot. But he brings that type of strength, that type of size, and he goes for that strip sack. And he mentions that in the Embedded episode. He says, I watched the Super Bowl where Von Miller did that to Cam Newton, and it changed the game.
Did you see the look on McDermott's face when he said that? That was the best. That was and Leslie Frazier's the funniest part of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's just laughing.
He's just laughing. He's like, you realize that, or no, they said in an interview later, you realize that Sean McDermott was on those teams, right? He's like, I realized it later.
Yeah, oh, sure he did right after that. And Leslie Frazier looks at him and he says, your draft stock just went up.
hey, that's not Sean McDermott's fault that Cam Newton can't hold on to the ball, right?
Well, there you see the birthday boy. Happy birthday. Shout out to QB1, Josh Allen. It's his birthday today. See if he can win somebody a $25 gift card. Guys, if you haven't, comment in the chat. Bill's first touchdown will be a $25 gift card. There's a pitch out. I think that's Pugh, number 35. I believe that was his name. Well, that's Edwards. There, guys, Pugh. It's going to be really interesting to see how this kid, what kind of energy he brings, number one. Number two, how strong is he? Because everything I've seen is bull rush. Everything. Everything's head up bull rush. He's running you over. It's going to be interesting. Now, you touched earlier on Shaq Lawson, and I'm going to do a pardon my take on you. Shaq Lawson created 6 sacks Jordan Phillips last year. Tennessee game, he did 2 of them. Dallas game, he did 1 or 2 where he rushed from the edge, Got to the outside, the quarterback had to step up, and guess who we found in the lap?
Yep.
Phillips.
Jordan Phillips. You're right. That's a good point. You know what?
I think. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I don't not like, Shaq Lawson. That's a fair take. He did create some sacks. I mean, I don't know. Jordan Phillips was a good player too, but at the same time, he might have been the beneficiary of some Shaq Lawson and Jerry Hughes rushes from the outside and pushing the quarterback inside.
Yeah. If you go, I can tell you right now, I was at the Nashville game. I call him Nashville. I was at the Nashville Titans game, and cousin looked at me. He said, "What do the Bills have to do today?" I said, "Jordan Phillips. Jordan Phillips has to be the key of this game."
No kidding. You called that.
Called it, and I could call him right now and bring him on the show.
Three-sack game.
Three-sack game. Ate up Henry on a few plays that could have led to huge plays. That was his first game, a legitimate starting role, the Bills.
Yep.
Because 2 weeks prior, you had Phillips go down.
Mm-hmm.
Against Cincy. So he had to have that big of a game on the side there. And they had just got Luan back, and Shaq tore him up.
Oh, yeah.
Shaq had a day on him. Murphy had a day on him. Their defenses, they kept us in that game. But that game, I know for a fact, and like I said, the Thanksgiving game, we'll look at both of those games, see that the games that Phillips had those sacks, it's because Shaq Lawson was putting pressure. I think that, those goal line stuff there, did he get in?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. We got second and goal. Shaq Lawson, I think everybody was looking for him to be a sack beast because we were spoiled with Bruce Smith. Use Bruce Smith right now on a second and goal from the 1. I'll tell you that much. It can be a pass play. Down. Wow, I don't know what's going on with these big upset alert. Kyle Joseph, I hear you. Guys, we have everybody. Yeah, Paul Burton, WTF. I hear you with that too. People are in. We have up to almost 60 people live, guys. Stick around with us. We still got to give away that gift card. Bills get trounced. You still got to win a gift card. It's at least comment in the comments the $25 gift card for who's going to score the first touchdown. Remember to share the stream, retweet it, do whatever you do on Twitter or on Discord. Go ahead and share it out. Get your friends in here. Let's see how many people we can get in. But when you do that, tag in @CodesSocks on Facebook or @Codes_Socks on Instagram and use the hashtag Cuomo to enter for the pair of poncho or socks. And we got 24-3 with 5 minutes left. It's got to happen on this drive right now for the Bills to get something going. I mean, from what you've been watching.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen is they're just letting the Jets get to an early comfortable lead before they really decide to make a comeback. They want it to be dramatic. They don't want to just, come out and destroy them 35-20, right? They want to have a comeback. So they're 3 touchdowns down. And now's the time where they start pounding the ball. They don't get too anxious. They don't start throwing the ball every single play. And they march down the field. And I think they get their first score. They take up all 5 minutes of the half, hopefully. And, go into the half 24-10, and then they make their comeback the second half.
Let's talk about a realistic situation where Singletary goes down. And you've got a rookie behind him that's got to be the man as you see Moss going for, 4 or 5 yards. What's the situation going to look like? What happens if Singletary goes down? What happens to that offense?
Well, I heard you guys talk about it in a
big play.
Oh, is that a free ball? Is that a free ball?
Catch it? No, there's a flag though, so it looks like it was defensive pass interference. No, offensive coming back.
Well, I was listening to you guys earlier this week, and you guys were talking about touches, Zach Moss versus Devin Singletary this first season. I think it'll be something like a 60-40 split. Now, if Singletary goes down because they're not they're not the same back, but they have similar running styles, I could see it going between him and Yeldon 80-20 or, even 90-10 possibly if Singletary goes down. What do you think?
Let's see here. You brought up a funny thing, and that brings up a fourth down. Wow, this Bills group cannot get going without Singletary in the offense. It looks like they were doing a lot of shotgun handoffs, single set inside handoffs, and around the tackles, and it was working a lot. Not today. The Jets have their number. Let's see if the defense can keep them in it. My take though on that, It's all going to depend on what we do with Yeldon. Why didn't we use him last? We couldn't hurt. Oh, that almost rolled down to the one. It went into the end zone. See that Bojo bomb there?
Oh yeah, I saw it.
That's what he does. So if he's not in their playbook last year, were we just not trying to hurt Frank Gore's things? And having him in there as a blocker at the end of the year, why didn't we use Yeldon more? That's my question. Was there something else? Maybe he was hurt. Maybe there's something else going on. Singletary goes down. I think it's going to be detrimental to the offense.
I agree with that for sure. By the way, you saw that stat line. That's exactly why we're losing right now. Sam Darnold is 15 for 16. Bills can't cover right now. They're not getting enough pressure initially without, it being a coverage sack. So I think that's one of the reasons why the Bills are doing so poorly right now in the first half. But that's a good question as to why Yeldon wasn't active for a lot of the season. And I think they just value, maybe the Bills to a fault value a veteran presence maybe more than they should. There were lots of times I remember in Matt Milano's first season. I mean, Matt Milano was a stud from the gate, from preseason. He was just that good. Now, he might not be as good as he is now, but he showed flashes in the first few games, and still they started, I forget who it was, Julian Stanford or someone else over him who was just a veteran who had, that he was on a one-year contract. He was on a one-year.
I remember.
Yep. Or no, it was it was a guy from, it wasn't him, it was a guy from the 49ers. I can't remember his name, but anyway, yeah, I mean, that's how important he was, because it wasn't until halfway through his rookie season that he got the starting role. And I remember thinking, like, why do they do that? And they really do like to have their rookies, or at least, the rookies or younger guys, learn from veterans. So I think that's the reason why they had Frank Gore playing more, because of his veteran presence, because he'd been doing it longer. And I think they were a little afraid of the fumbles that Yeldon had in the preseason. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the fumbles, and he fumbled against Cincinnati as well, and I think he had a couple more throughout the season, but it's weird. They carry 5 tight ends.
That was a big stop on third down, by the way.
It was a huge stop on third down. They carry 5 tight ends. 4 tight ends.
Can I just say, yeah, I want to talk about tight end if we could, because Joby just did an article in The Athletic talking about the Bills' biggest needs, and he didn't mention tight end once. And to me, my personal opinion is that tight end is one of the scariest positions as far as depth goes on the roster. Now, I like Dawson Knox, but he's young. It's his second season. Tight end in general as a position takes roughly 3 to 4 years for a guy to really start to hit his stride. And I think that's just because of the way, because to mature. And not only that, it wasn't like Dawson Knox was playing tight end in high school. He was a quarterback in high school. So he's more raw than even a normal tight end prospect, right? So so you have that going for you. You got Tyler Kroft, who I think he does bring that veteran experience again, but at the same time, a stiff wind off of Abbott Drive could injure him for the rest of the season. You have Tommy Sweeney, a 7th rounder, and Jason Kroom, an undrafted guy that showed some pass catching ability, but I mean, it's really unproven after Dawson Knox. Even Dawson Knox himself, it scares me a little bit, and I'm worried where they're going to go with. And I kind of wish they had just one more option behind those guys, because we saw what happened last preseason. We didn't have Dawson Knox or Tyler Kroft because they were injured all preseason. So was Jason Kroom. So it was the Tommy Sweeney show. And although
I must be hearing you right now with that nice pickup on the sideline. Of course, it was a hard ball to catch. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we talked about that pre-recording, right? If it's a hard ball to catch, he's got it, 100%.
I agree with you though on the Sweeney. Well, here's the thing. Bartles said, "I think Sweeney will surprise this year."
Did he get that? Is that an interception? Yep.
Yeah. Looks like he's celebrating it.
Josh Allen with the underthrow on that one.
Yeah, we don't want to see the overthrows. Definitely don't want to see the underthrows. Oh yeah, that's the Madden toe tap right there. Yep, it's good. Bartles said, "I think Sweeney will surprise this year." Sweeney's got to make the team. Sweeney's biggest ally last year was Kroom getting hurt. So I think if Kroom doesn't get hurt, you don't see Sweeney on the team. If Eifert doesn't get hurt, you don't see Sweeney on the team. start
I
the season.
didn't even mention Lee Smith. I mean, he really shouldn't even be. He's like a specialist, right? I don't even consider him a tight
On
end
the roster.
necessarily. Exactly. He's like a tight end slash,
Blocking
poor
back.
man's offensive tackle.
That's pretty much what he
And
is.
exactly. So it's really, you're right. It's between Tommy Sweeney and Jason Kroom for that last spot. And honestly, they could probably cut either of those two and still sign them to the practice squad, and we wouldn't have to worry about them getting picked up.
And we're going to cut away to halftime here with the Bills getting beat up at home by those pesky New York Football Jets. 200 passing yards. 200 passing yards at the half, guys. Thanks for joining us. Tonight we have Nate from Circling the Wagons, a Buffalo Bills podcast, which you can find available on.
You can find it anywhere you find podcasts. Just look for the Buffalo Rumblings Podcast Network. We're part of the podcast network that I'm sure you guys have heard of, like Nick and Nolan's show, Believe, Breaking Buffalo Rumblings, Rumblings Q&A. All those guys, they do a tremendous job, and I'm just one of those parts of the podcast network.
Awesome. Cool. And a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of work goes into the behind the scenes. People think, oh, you guys just show up, hang out, chill and chat with your friends. There's so much that goes on. The notes, the getting the people on, the making sure they can join the Zoom call or the Discord meeting, and the overlays and the graphics. And I want to give a shout out to the people that are putting this all together. Gratwick Gaming. Speaking of which, did you know that Gratwick Gaming is having their first night? It's going to be a Stephen King themed escape room, and it'll be streamed live this Saturday right after the Bills-Jets game on all of Gratwick's platforms. If anybody wants to be a part of that, you can get in contact with Gratwick Productions or Gratwick Gaming, or you can just join our Discord server. Discord server will be located it'll be right on the screen here in about 30 seconds. We got a double dipper drive, everybody. There's the Discord information. It's discord.me/Gratwick. You can join the community, find out about upcoming Rocket League tournaments. I believe that there's one coming up soon. So go ahead and check them out at discord.me/Gratwick. And we have another double dipper drive. It's the third quarter. Code Socks TD drive will be a pair of Poncho Power socks. Hopefully Poncho can shine down on this Madden Sim and get something going. We're also going to be giving away that first touchdown drive gift card for the $25 gift card, a restaurant of your choice. All you have to do is enter into the comments who's going to score the first Bills touchdown. Hopefully it's going to start the snowball down the hill, an avalanche. But if you want to win the socks, you have to retweet or share the stream, tag in at Code Socks, and hashtag Governor Cuomo for your chance to win a pair of Poncho Power Codes socks.
Is there a way to change the depth chart so that Edwards isn't getting the first down and second down reps? I feel like he's the RB1 on this team right now, and it should be Zach Moss.
Should be, but I think they went Tech Mobile style, and they replaced the guy in the place where they were, and it didn't auto reset them.
Classic Madden.
That's going to be a holding. That's a great pass. There's the Schwartz. May the Schwartz be with you. That's a holding coming back. Let's see who it's on. Hopefully it's not on my guy. On the Snowman. Oh, it's at the new right guard.
It's not Lee Smith?
Oh, it's not Lee.
Not this time?
Lee
Okay.
Smith.
Okay.
Not Lee Smith.
I say
Dave
that
Barlow
joking,
said,
obviously.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. Dave Barlow said, I think Kroom, odd man out. I think Kroom's going to be out for reasons that don't pertain to football. I'm going to leave that at that.
Oh, yeah. Let's just, let's leave it
Chip with
at
the
that.
stick, walk away. It's already
Or is he going to make the team because of reasons unknown too? I don't know.
Like I said, I'm going to hit it with the stick, and if it doesn't move, I'm walking away.
No double tap on this one?
Nope. Paul Bearden wants to know when the beer sales stop in the sim. You never stop. It's just like this train. The beer sales in the sim never stop. They might need a few after this performance walking out. I've been corrected by the guys in the truck. We do not have the Bojo bombs anymore. Gentleman's name, Zach von Rossenberg. That's a great name for a punter.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
guys, I think we have a late entry here. We're going to let the man and the myth, the legend. Good stop there by Micah Hyde, doing all things. We got the man from Trainwreck Sports coming in. Zach, what's going on? If you can hear me or not. Well, he'll be in a second. Did you see that? Nice stop by Poyer. See, you're getting the secondary up. See the secondary coming up? They've been doing this the whole time. We haven't seen a corner blitz. I wouldn't be surprised they dial it up here. They're getting no pressure, like you said.
You know, they're getting a little bit more. And honestly, Sam Darnold, if he went 15 for 16, now he's 19 for 23. I mean, he's starting to get rattled. That Bills defensive line is starting to wear down that Jets offensive line. So, you know, the secondary is starting to make some plays. It's going to be, they're getting there. I think this is going to be a big stop, and I think the Bills are going to hopefully turn it around on this next drive. I mean, Josh Allen, I mean, he's just got to start stepping up this, oh, no, that was third down. So this is a big drive for Allen and the offense.
Huge. And Jesse Parrish, you're right. Schwartz has been playing lights out in the absence of Beasley. Let's talk about Beasley. Let's talk about the slot receivers. Let's talk about McKenzie and Beasley and some of these younger guys coming in. How much fun is it going to see them open?
You know what the best part about the Bills offseason, in my opinion, is the wide receivers. I mean, you just think about it. They lost nobody. They lost absolutely no one on the wide receiving core. They have everyone back. They have John Brown, Cole Beasley. I mean, a lot of the underrated guys that fans really like. They have Duke Williams back. They have Isaiah McKenzie back. They have Robert Foster back. I mean, you know, these are guys that have shown some ability at some points, but haven't strung it together. They're either undrafted guys or guys that have been cut or guys from the CFL. I mean, they have all those guys. And then they added Stephon Diggs, and they added 2 rookies that show a lot of promise. So no matter what, that group in general is completely upgraded from 2019. And we saw a complete upgrade from 2019 to 20. I don't know if it can get much worse in 2018, but we've seen such a big upgrade between last year and this year. And yeah, I'm really excited. What about you?
I'm super excited. I just want to know which one of those guys aren't making the team because you added 2 more guys. You got the kid from UCF. His name's escaping me right now that we just drafted.
Gabriel Davis.
Gabriel Davis. Thank you. I was going to say Corey Davis, but I know it's not Corey, so I stopped. But I knew it was a Davis.
Dan, I got you, brother. Don't worry.
Oh, that's cool. You know, where are these guys? Is Foster going to make the team? I love Duke Williams. He had, 8, 9 targets in that playoff game.
Oh, yeah,
Josh
10
Lake's
targets.
Josh Lake's getting the ball. Why wouldn't you? He's 6'4". I mean, now he's got that, though. It's possibilities are endless, and I think we've seen what John Brown can do, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that this year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now especially they'll be drawing coverage away from John Brown for the first time since he's been here. This is going to be exciting to see.
Imagine what it's like for teams. You see Zach Moss go over there for like a 2-yard. Zach, are you in, by the way? Zach, are you in here?
I'm in here, and I'm seeing all kinds of ball movement on this drive, and I'm seeing a scoreboard of 24-3. They say better late than never, but what the hell is going on here, boys?
I'll tell you, man. They've had it taken to them. It's just been one Josh Darnold show after the next. Got beat over the top for 50 yards. Allen's it's his birthday. Listen, he's probably doing what he did at the softball game, having a couple beers, coming out of the locker room. He's getting beat up today, Zach.
It looks like that. Hey, just joining you boys. Shout out CTW Pod and Code Sox. Let's get a touchdown on this drive. Let's get that first Bills touchdown. Let's get this game moving in the right direction.
Maybe they need Mosley to go out like they did week 1. I think.
Hey, it was around the same time they started picking it up in this game, actually. All right around middle third quarter.
Zach, they were just waiting for you to come back, man. As soon as you're here now's the time to turn it on.
We'll see. We start off. That's not even Bojo. What is going on? I am shook. I am shook.
I am too. We were told by the truck it's Zach von Rossenberg. That's a great name, though.
You're shook. You're shook, but are you upset?
Well, definitely not, because Berg just dropped an iceberg inside the 10, and we have this defense set up, getting their ears pinned back. We need to play, boys. We need to play out of this defense to try and change the dynamic of this game.
Oh, yeah.
What you're telling
Oh, I was
Yeah,
just
they're playing
about to say, we're going to really change the dynamic. We're going to give away a pair of Poncho Power socks for whoever makes a turnover. Guys, put it in the chat. Get it out there. Let's see in the chat. Turnover equals socks. I know right there it says that TD equals socks, but we're going to change it to TO equals socks. Who's going to make the play that's going to turn this game around?
3rd and 2, so this is a prime turnover opportunity with the Jets kind of pinned back in their own zone here. Play action for Darnold.
Oh! Was it a fumble?
Goodness.
No.
There's that classic Madden animation. A.J. Epinesa with his 2nd sack of the day. I'll tell you what, sometimes they'll just fall to the ground and they won't they'll drop the ball, but they won't rule it a fumble. I guess that's as good as you could have hoped for this Bills defense. So quick 3 and out and some little yardage loss.
A.J. Epinesa's 2nd sack of the game. Now, who's on the other defensive end for this Bills team? Is it Jerry Hughes?
I saw 52 making a play, which I know is McClain. I don't know if he's starting there full time. I do know it was Hughes at the beginning of the season, however. We need a big return here.
Never make a man miss. Like, angle yourself to the sideline a little.
I know, or somebody block a gunner on there. Seriously.
I've never in this sim seen them set up to actually block to return a punt. I'm not gonna lie. Dan, have you?
Oh, not at all. And did you see the kid win the Madden Bowl on national television with the punter?
Punter only. Let's
Oh
go.
my
I love
gosh.
the strategy. I love the strategy.
EA Sports is getting ripped up. We love them for what we're doing today. EA Sports is getting ripped up for that.
I love it. I think games are all about finding new strategies. And yeah, if they have a salary cap and a guy wants to start a punter at the QB position and just run a run-heavy offense, I think that should be allowed.
You see his game? I run, pass, I win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, hey, it's a winning game plan. But it was very interesting. I mean, yeah, he's a good defensive player, so you gotta stick with your strengths, I guess. I think he had, like they were saying, he had Frank Clark and he had another strong DB he was allowed to get because of the money he saved on the QB position. Bills moving downfield. Is this the farthest they've been downfield? Or tell me what Josh Allen with any red zone turnovers? What's been the stigma today besides Sam Darnold?
It's about as far as they've gotten, it looks like.
This is the farthest they've gotten down the field. Nope, they had their first drive, they drove down, they got stuffed. And they kicked for 3. And it was 3-0. This game was 3-0.
They started to drive down the field, and then, Josh Allen, he threw a short pass, or he didn't throw it as far as he should have. The safety intercepted it right on the sideline. So it's been a rough day for Josh Allen.
3rd and 4. They need inside the 20 here.
This was a fear of the Bills last year. What happens, and it happened in one game, the Philadelphia game. What happens when the defense doesn't show up?
They got to go for this right here. If they don't go for this, I might rip my hair out. I'm not gonna.
They're going to kick a field goal.
They better not kick a field goal. There's still plenty of time left in this game if you pick up this first down here. Plenty of time in Madden. There's eons. And this team has been a second half team all sim. Anyone who's followed along has known that. Jason Swell. I'm seeing some new names in the chat though. I love that. Oh my gosh. This better be a fake. There it is!
There it is! Go!
No! Why not run a play? Air Madden. 4th and inches. Fake field goal doesn't work.
Is that Jake Fromm?
Yeah, that's Fromm. Find every quarterback and center.
Now, Nate, you might not be familiar. I don't want to assume. Last year in the AFC Championship game, they ran that play for a touchdown to make it a one-score game. So I was very excited when I saw Fromm pick that up. That was probably what they were thinking there, but obviously no dice. Fromm gets stopped in the backfield, and you're right. Obviously, when you get stopped, it's a silly-looking play to run a QB on a fake field goal on 4th and inches.
Souza said, I can't believe I'm getting mad at Madden simulation. Guess what? You're not the only one. Rob Rowland wants to know what the going on, and Bass would have had it. Jesse Parrish, I'm with you. They should have just direct snapped it to Bass.
Yeah, Bass would have probably been dancing in the end zone. Instead, we got 2nd and 11. Still time here in the 3rd quarter. I'm sorry. Until it's the 4th quarter and Jets have the ball with still a 3-possession game, I think there's still a lot of pocket, especially when they're going out of bounds.
Especially when they don't have Le'Veon Bell, because I haven't seen him come back since he got hurt. Is that him right there? As I'm saying it.
How dare you say that? Jets
No.
lead the 33-yard line. They go to the middle. They're not going to get it. Boys, the Bills are going to get the ball back again.
Right.
In the third quarter, we need one score, folks. We need one score.
Well, Friday night, guys, don't forget, tomorrow night we have the showdown with the Broncos, and we have Tristan the Bills streaker. We all remember him. He'll be joining us. So if he makes it, great. Currently, he is streaking into a new apartment, so I read that wrong. But he might not make it, but we're going to make sure that he can fly by or maybe pop in, streak through the stream at some point throughout the stream.
Wow, I was even considered to be a guest host when you have the streaker on. Hashtag blessed, right?
I mean, he's a better act to go ahead of and not foul, because
Oh, yeah.
not foul that.
Could imagine that one, no doubt about it.
Would be the bare necessities.
I'm pretty sure he was the MVP of the Bills 2018 season, their 6-10 season.
Yeah. Well, there goes Allen. Speaking of streaking, streaks for the first down, takes a hit. Good. Here we go. Josh Allen getting him going. Happy birthday, QB. And say it again. This is the last time.
No doubt. Happy birthday to J.A. 24.
Now, what is
You
Josh?
never
What is
say it
Josh?
enough.
Yep, absolutely. Happy birthday to Josh Allen. Now, what does Josh Allen have to do this season to improve? Because, a 10-6 record is definitely doable, but it's a harder schedule. The Bills are traveling a lot further than they did last season. I mean, what do you guys think Josh Allen has to do to lead this team to an AFC East division win?
Heck, you want to go first?
Yeah. I can go first. Basically, for an AFC East title, I think he really just needs to hold serve, as they say in tennis. Basically, I think he just needs to kind of replicate last year. 20 touchdowns, 9 picks. I think that stat line would get it done this year. If you're talking about, getting to that range where, you might be competing for playing in, deep into January, I think we're probably going to want him to be at about about a 3-to-1 touchdown to turnover ratio, because I feel like the rest is going to take care of itself. You saw the progression. First year he was 53% completion. Second year just short of 59. I think if he continues to progress anywhere in that department, if he goes over 60%, they'll get what they want. Josh will be the franchise guy.
4, Josh Allen. Here we go. Can he be the guy right now? No, drop pass.
If they punt this, I'm going to be upset.
Probably gonna punt this. See what they do really quick, and then I'll answer this. At least Davis is fired up, man.
G Davis.
National champ. Proclaimed.
Okay,
Right, they went for it.
Drew formation on 4th and 4. Love it. Good pocket.
Picking this up.
Can he stick the feet? He will, and the Bills are still alive, folks. Don't go anywhere. 13 minutes to go. 32-yard line. Bills still looking for their first touchdown. Comment who you think is going to score. It could be a $25 gift card for you, courtesy of Gratwick Gaming and Trademark Sports. Josh Allen running. You need to stick that block for your QB there, gentlemen.
Hey, dude, it's a triple D, dude. It's a double dipper drive. I like shirts. I like food. Can't be in it because I'm a part of it. You guys should be commenting in the comments, though.
Oh, to not be getting after it would be crazy. Bills with a moderate game. Looks like a face mask. That is going to be monster, folks. Bills moving into the code zone. Make sure you're commenting who is going to score the first Bills touchdown. I know it's coming up here. $25 to your favorite local restaurant if you are correct. Could be entered to win. So make sure you're commenting.
Josh Allen, to answer your question on Josh Allen, I'll be really, really quick. Josh Allen needs to slow down, let the game slow down around him, not try and win and do everything himself. Last year we saw in the playoff game, Josh Allen ball took over in the fourth quarter. We all saw it. We remember it. The media was going to have a frenzy with him if he doesn't lead that team down to tie that game, potentially win it. I think he made all the strides he needed to in year 2, and he's going to make the necessary sides. Schwartz down at the 8, at the 7. I think he's made all those progressions. He's growing. Hits the deep ball a couple times, as I saw people in the comments say. We're going to love it a lot more. think we're going to go as the running game goes. Moss, the boss, stumble for the 4th down.
We pick up the first down. Big first down there. I can't believe they just ran it on 3rd and 4.
Running game's going to help us a lot more this year, and I think if we can get that steady run out of a Thunder kind of a guy like we had Frank Gore in the beginning of the year, like he was doing, I think with the youth rejuvenation back there, I think it's going to help Josh a lot.
You know, one thing that he did really well in this drive was slide. I think Josh needs to do. I mean, he got better with that as the season went on, but you know, not.
Touchdown, Buffalo. Right. Guess who? Dawson Knox.
It was the Lee Smith play. It was the invisible tight end.
No doubt.
That's how Ben Coates made his living with New England, the invisible tight end play.
That was huge. So, are you guys a Fort Knox fan, or are you guys Juggernauts?
Dawson's Creek, Fort Knox.
Yeah, I go with the hybrid, Dawson's Creek, Fort Knox.
Gotcha.
Wow, that's what happens when you get a little delayed Bills first touchdown. 14 Knoxes. 14 Knoxes. Ooh, this could be some fun.
Fort Knox, literally. 14. How do we do this one? Same way? John Schneck the third. Ed Knox in the first quarter only took forever. But you know what? A watched pot never boils.
Hey, and the Bills are back in this game. Still over 10 minutes to go. Just a 2-possession game, and this Bills defense game stopped. But we got to figure out something, folks. 14 Knox entries. So I think there's only one way to do it, Dan.
I think the best way is to watch the race go on. Nate, you can't see it, but we have all the streams on chat. We can see all these numbers come up, and it's kind of like a live horse race for Zach and I. Is that the way you want to do it, Zach?
Huge stop on first down. Jeez.
Yeah, I hate to do it to the chat, but I mean, if they really want that $25 gift card that they just earned, obviously, with that Dawson Knox turning, I mean, I feel like there's only one fair way to do it. We gotta let them race.
Let them race. Tell them how it's gonna happen.
All right, folks, comment in the chat 1 through 14. 1 through 14. Comment a number 1 through 14. The first number, actually, the last number, no. The first number to get mentioned 3 times will be the winner. First
1 through 14.
1 through 14, first number to get mentioned 3 times. And meanwhile, gentlemen, a big 3rd and 11 here for the Jets. And the Bills are going to get it off the field. They're going to get off the field. All right,
Here we go. The
underway.
defense is stepping up.
We got 2 11s, 3 7s. It's a quick race. It's over in a blink. Lucky number 7 for me. Do you guys see anything? We got to verify that, obviously, but 7 is the one that I see.
I agree. Went 8, 7, 9, 11, 11, 7, 7. 3 7s. Boom.
11 almost had it, but 7 gets it done. Stay tuned for our Dawson Knox first Bills touchdown winner as the Bills are about to get the ball back here with 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Just waiting on our producers.
Yep. Shout out to everyone back in the truck, making it happen. Okay, and we have our winner. Shout out to George Carvalho. You are the winner. George Carvalho, winner of the $25 gift card to his favorite local restaurant, courtesy of Gratwick Gaming and Trainwreck Sports. Thanks for entering. Thanks for guessing Dawson Knox. And always stay tuned for more games and giveaways, courtesy of Code Sox, Gratwick Gaming, and Trainwreck Sports.
Josh looks like he woke up now. That defense woke up too. We didn't see that the first half. We didn't see them making plays on a 3rd down.
By the way, Mr. Carvalho, send a direct message to Trainwreck Sports Facebook or Instagram page to claim your prize. Congratulations again, and shout out to everyone who entered. And there it is, the middle of the field, Dan. They're working it, and they're trying to get back in this game.
Yeah, Nate, that's both the things we were talking about the first half. Weren't using the middle of the field. The defense wasn't doing anything.
The only thing I don't like is that they're waiting for the play clock to go down to 10 every single time they run a play. That play clock shouldn't get past 22.
Down to 15. There you go.
Yeah, they're being a little bit more aggressive.
This is more like a Rex Ryan led team. They used to just let the clock run out. It's like no, you guys need to score.
There goes
like,
Josh.
Soon. Good slide.
Gain. Big gain and a good, well-timed slide for sure.
Nate, you're right. You said slide, and the funny thing is when you asked us the question, what we thought about him, first thing that came to my mind was slide. Didn't say it. That's your take, though. That was the beginning of your take. Finish your take on Allen.
Well, it's not just that. I just want him to take less hits in general because I think that the Bills offense does a lot of QB design runs, which is fine, but he's going to get hit no matter what because he's going to get sacked. He's going to get hit from the offensive line, missing some blocks, but he also just, makes something out of nothing. The guy is that creative and that, dynamic that if the pocket breaks down, he's going to run it. So you're talking about 5 or 6 runs right out of that. He's going to get hit from some pressures. Why add 5 or 6 more design runs? And, this doesn't, those are just my opinions, but I also think that they need to tailor the offense to have a little bit more short game in for him just so he doesn't have to wait as long for plays to develop.
I agree with that. I can get behind that. I'd like to see him throw the ball away more.
Oh, good call.
The ball down into feet. Tom Brady, everybody can say what they want. Oh, there was no one in the area. Oh, he doesn't just, you know why? He got away with it. He did it all the time.
He's the worst. I literally will rip my hair out about Tom Brady with his intentional grounding. He's so good at it, it pisses me off.
So good.
You know how you get away with it? Do it all the time. Like hand checking in basketball, grabbing people. I played basketball when I was really young. People used to grab my jersey. It wasn't because I was slower. It's because they wanted to hold me and knew they can get away with it.
It looks like we have a T-shirt winner, Dan, also for that touchdown, as the Bills entering 4th down here.
The T-shirt winner, I think we run it back, or should we let our guest pick a number 1 through 14 for the winner?
I think we already have them, but 4th down. Josh, good protection, gets it over the middle, and we're still in this game, folks. Still alive, under 4 minutes to go, 2-score game. Let's see, first and 10, 26-yard line, under 3:30 to go. Great pocket for J.A. It's that over the middle. They just have not been able to get anything deep down the sidelines. I mean, has Diggs been effective at this game at all? I know I've only seen the last quarter and a half.
He's got the ball a little bit more, and you were right, Zach. We do have a T-shirt winner, Zach. Sorry, boy. Oh, bad news on the fumble. They're going to catch him from behind, though. Looks like they're going to have the ball at the 25, but we got good news. Zach Kinzar. I'm probably saying that wrong. At Klinccar. You have won the AR embedded T-shirt from Gratwick Productions and 26 shirts. And I believe that they can PM Gratwick Gaming or Gratwick Productions on Instagram or Twitter for their prize.
And I know we're rewinding down here. By the way, my mistake on just jumping into this stream. Thanks for taking us the whole way, especially Nate and Dan.
Problem. Take it home, buddy.
No, I'm not gonna vulture this touchdown. Come on now. That's not my style, boys. That's not my style. I'm gonna let you guys get the shine. But just know it was very it was nice. I was listening to you guys while we were on the way here. I mean, it was a great broadcast.
We're trying to do what you can do. You do the best, bud.
Big stop right there. They almost had a pick 6 on the last play. I mean, the Bills have timeouts. They can start burning now.
Yeah, this game's not over until it's over, especially in Madden. That's like the NFL times 3. We'll see maybe a little doink, maybe a little blocked field goal. You never know. Don't go anywhere, folks. I still see 40+ tuning in on Facebook, so we know those Bills Mafia members aren't going anywhere. Nate, I know you guys, obviously, I wish we could have touched on this a little more. Again, apologize for my late arrival, but anything you guys are working on coming up with Circling the Wagons?
Oh yeah, we're always working on a few different things. Just recently, we interviewed Ty Dunn from the Bleacher Report, who wrote the article about Sammy Watkins, and it kind of broke the sports internet last week. So that was fun to do. We got his insight on a lot of different things, including, is Sammy all there? Is he okay? And we talked about the rumors that he might be interested, or that the Bills were interested in him this off season, which set a lot of people off. And obviously Brandon Beane had the comment afterwards that said that they absolutely, was not in the was not part of the trade talks end of discussion. So that was really cool. And we're working on doing an embedded review for this last episode that came out. And there's a couple of other things, always got something in the works. And unfortunately, like you mentioned, Dan, you brought up a good point. It's just, there's lots of things that, what's good about it is I think about this a lot, just trying to set up podcasts and give good content to our listeners. But it's one of those things that you just don't turn off. Like, I mean, even, when you guys brought this up, the possibility of doing this, I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks. So it's good to finally get it on with you guys, and really appreciate what you guys do at Coat Sox, and obviously Trainwreck. I've been following you guys. You guys started around the same time we did, so it's cool to finally get in touch with you guys.
No doubt. I mean, it's all about thriving off these things. We all obviously have a passion for it. That's the one thing, when nobody has a corporate backing like a lot of the local sports networks, or, for example, your WGR. So it's great to see, what you guys and a lot of the other, podcasts that have been around are putting out, because it's definitely alternative content that, offers a new perspective, and not without getting too cliche. That's what life itself is all about.
Absolutely. So, what's funny is I wanted to bring this up because I knew you guys from Trainwreck. I know obviously you'd be here, Zach. And the first experience I ever had with Trainwreck was I watched you guys do an interview where it was after Brandon Beane Russ Brandon got let go, and you guys had the T-shirts "Not My President" with his face on them. Like, I was just like, these guys are going places.
That was one of our favorite ones. I'm not gonna lie, we paid like $47 for each shirt because they got printed that day when it happened. So Obviously a ridiculous move that I would not recommend to anybody, but it was hysterical. Yeah, we had Ryan Gates on for the first time, and I'll never forget that news, just because it seems like news is at an all-time low now, and I agree it is, but it's just kind of that's typically the way the year works out for Buffalo sports fans. Obviously, the Sabres have not had anything going on in April, May, June the last couple of years. So, yeah, when that news broke after the playoff run and everything, I mean, I'll literally never forget that day. I mean, Russ Brandon was the ultimate villain to me. I'm sorry. I know some people don't view it that way, but he was to me.
I can't. Russ Brand. I don't want to go anywhere I shouldn't, but that was the best thing that ever happened in Buffalo sports history. That whole regime going down the toilet at the same time, and it looks like we're doing everything the right way. There's Jerry Hughes. Gosh, there we go. Oliver. Someone gonna take him down?
Yeah, I know. 3 guys. Come on.
Geesh, is that Watson back there? Who is that? My goodness.
We didn't even get to talk about the fact that they punted on 4th down. What the hell was that?
In a 27-10 game, when they punt on 4th down, even doesn't matter where they are, you just don't talk about it. There was a run for the bus. I think they didn't run enough. I did see a stat where Allen had, I think it said 48 or 49 pass attempts. I hope that was the playbook that McDermott just threw down there, Zach.
You and me both, honestly, because it looks like this one, sometimes you have a walk to remember, but sometimes you have a game to forget, gentlemen. And the Bills drop a dud. I mean, it looks like they got the yards and rushing at the end of the day, but couldn't execute. When you turn the ball over 4 times and the other team doesn't do it at all, you're not going to win many football games. And that's the case today as the Bills fall 27-10, gentlemen. 27-10.
That's what happens when you have turnovers. You live and die by the golden arm of Josh Allen. He didn't get it done on his birthday. I do want to say thank you, Nate, from the Circle the Wagons podcast. Nate, tell everybody again where they could find you.
So you can find our podcast, Circling the Wagons, on the Buffalo Rumblings Podcast Network. We are on everything from Apple Podcasts to Spotify, to Stitcher, all those different avenues. And you'll find us there. You'll find us there with the Nick and Nolan Show, Believe, Rumblings Q&A, Breaking Buffalo Rumblings. And yeah, it's a great group to work with. I'm proud to be a part of it. And actually, since probably maybe 90% of the people have logged off, do you guys want to hear a story for the 10% of people that are still on there, or do we have to cut this?
We don't have to go anywhere. Give us the story.
Zach, so I got to tell you, since you brought up since you reminded me of the Russ Brandon incident, I actually know of someone who's still in contact with Russ Brandon. He is now currently the life coach for Russ Brandon. It's a former employer that I used to work with. Obviously, won't give away names, but let me just tell you, it is an interesting thing to hear of the back and forth. And I think a lot of the things that people assume happened, there's a good chance that it did happen. So it's, I from the people that have actually interacted with Russ Brandon, they say they love him. They say he's a great guy. He's good at his job, but obviously ran into some issues with the Bagula Sports and Entertainment. And it's just interesting, the guy who is now his life coach, because he's one of those guys. Have you ever met like a good salesman or someone that could just convince you of anything? Like if you're ever not sure 100% of anything in life, like there's a guy that's like, if you're like Zach, if you're like, I don't know if I should buy this car. He's like, bro, you need this car. This is going to make it. And then you're like, okay, maybe I'll get this car. That's this guy. And he is now the life coach of Russ Brandon. So it's going to be an interesting to see if he ever gets back into sports, because right now he's blackballed.
We're pitter-pattering around all the details because I just want to say like everything that I know. Like Russ Brandon's a sex fiend, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's you. Okay.
I mean,
just stop pitter-pattering.
Yeah, like no reason to pull any punches. Like I heard he was in like and this isn't a joking matter. No addiction is, because I realize saying he's a sex fiend is. I heard he was in like sex addiction like counseling.
Oh wow.
So I don't know. Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. I heard that the biggest thing though was he was doing it on the company's dime.
Oh, 100%. Yep. And
you can't do that when you're, ordering bottles at the hotel room for the mistress. So it's kind of, it's interesting.
Said, "Let it out." There's certain things that we can't say in an open forum, and I don't think we can go into too much details, but kind of not got to go up the ladder, sort of say, when you're working in an organization like that.
Oh no. I mean, what surprises me is not that he did it. It's just that he's the only one that we've heard of that's done it in any organization to this point that's been blackballed. But because he was very successful with his position in the Marlins and with the Buffalo Bills to a point. I will say that, I agree with Zach as far as one of the most hated guys. I did hate the idea of him putting games in Canada. I don't know why he would do that, and he called it a regionalization. I think it was just a money grab, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
I'm still very bitter about that, but at the same point, like the guy still doesn't have a job 3 years later. Like, come on, like that's crazy. And I think that's because you don't do that on the company dime. You can do whatever you have to do. If you are a sex addict or whatever, you can do that on your own time. Just don't do it on with our money. So.
Any last minute shout outs?
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank you guys for having me on. I mean, I've been looking forward to talking with Zach and you, Dan, and Chris for setting this up. It takes a while, unfortunately. We all have things going on. It's kind of a crazy time for us as fans, and it's going to be an interesting season. One thing we didn't get a chance to talk to, and if there's any listeners, I'd like to point out this fact, and I've said it before on our podcast, is that the good thing about this season, even if there's no fans or whatever, or even if the season's delayed, the most important thing is that this season happens, because Russ Brandon, I'm already in that mindset. Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott have built this team to be COVID-19 resistant, with the fact that, like I mentioned before, 20 out of 22 starters are returning from last season. The guys that they brought in free agency are very familiar with the system, the coaching staff. Eric Washington, Quentin Jefferson was brought in. He had familiarity with Dan Morgan in the front office. You're talking about, guys that are drafted, AJ Epinesa, Zach Moss, Gabriel Davis, all those guys, they don't have to start because of how well Brandon Beane has built this team depth-wise that, you're looking at the Jets, who may have no offseason at all. There may be no training camp. We might go straight into the season, and their starting left tackle might not even have taken one snap with Sam Darnold. So this team is ready to go, and this team is ready to make a deep playoff run. So I'm excited as a Bills fan. I hope you guys are all excited too. And the only thing that we have to hope for is that there is a season, because if there is, I think the Bills have a step up over almost every other team. That's especially when the Bills didn't turn over any coaches, they didn't turn over any of their front office staff, and probably half the teams did in one capacity or another. So the Bills are ready for success this season.
I'll tell you what. I might as well be an outdoor, bonfire, because you just got me fired up, Nate, about this Bills season. I mean, sheesh, you're right. Everything is rolling. These wagons are circling in the right direction. Speaking of wagons circling, don't forget about Gratwick Gaming Game Night, Saturday night. Hop into the Discord community, discord.me/Gratwick. Dan, any shout-outs before we sign off?
I just want to shout out to everybody watching tonight. Jason Towell, we have Robert Williams. I'm seeing a lot of people coming back. I want to give a local shout out to Craft Street Brewery here in Odessa, Trinity, Florida. They have the best loaf, steak and cheese mac. If you're ever in this area, hit up Craft Street. It's a good local spot.
Shout out to Craft Street. Shout out to Allen Street. Shout out to everywhere around, every local neighborhood that could be potentially opening soon. Obviously, we don't want to count our chickens where they're hatched. Everyone stay healthy. Everyone stay safe. We will all get through this together. Huge shout out again to Nate from Circling the Wagons Pod. Huge shout out to Dan Gambino, the CEO of the Sox you already know. And of course, a big shout out to Chris and Andrea from Gratwick in the back. Because folks, when it's Gratwick, Circling the Wagons, Code Sox, and Trainwreck, these stories, this action, this scoring, and most importantly, this train never